Well, we're back here again. The third part. Shut up! We're back. No. You both. No. Wait. Okay. I put my hand over his mouth. Welcome back, everyone. To the. God damn it. Welcome back to the third part of the iceberg.
Wait, the third part, huh?
Alright, I let these two freaking Scrooges out of my basement once again to record the third part.
Wait,
And
that's where we were?
yeah.
Dude, your hand tastes like seaweed.
Yeah, that's because I go fishing with my
Like,
bare hands.
What does seaweed taste like?
You know what?
Gee, I wonder. Seaweed, idiot. God, you're dumb.
Alright, I'm sure if you guys haven't, if you guys don't know what's going on, go watch the two other parts that I did. The one I did on my own, and then the one where I brought these two.
Or you could watch the second one. I'm in there. That's pretty cool. And Springy's in there too.
Yeah.
I was about to say
I'm
that.
cool
You
too.
know what? Just watch those videos. I'm subject.
Unless you've already watched them.
Unless you've already watched them. I'm subject. I'm joined by
If you already
Jebber
watched them, hey,
Hi.
cookies.
and Springy.
Hi.
And
Springy.
that's a little
Springy,
rude.
this is crazy.
Exactly what he said.
Are
Let's. Are you guys talking to each other? You know what? That's it. We're doing this.
What?
Enjoy the
Oh,
fucking.
yeah.
Yeah.
Phantom Foxy and Chica teaser. The Phantom Foxy and Chica teaser was the very last teaser shown for FNAF 3. It shows Phantom Chica and Phantom Foxy, along with text that reads, "All in your mind." It doesn't have much relevance other than being a cool introduction to more of the Phantoms.
The Desolate Room. The Desolate Room is a prequel to The Desolate Hope. It doesn't have any real connections to FNAF, however, some of the designs for the characters do look similar to FNAF-styled characters.
X-Scream. X-Scream is the name given to the FNAF 1 Jumpscare sound file. The sound originates from the 1981 film Inseminoid.
Chica's Party World. This refers to a line of text that was found in the source code of some of the sister locations teaser, suggesting that Chica has, or at the least, had her own location in the FNAF timeline. It is also speculated that that is why Funtime Chica is not seen in the main game's sister location.
The Immortal and the Restless is an allegory for the Afton family. If you didn't know, The Immortal and the Restless is a soap opera that you watch after you finish a shift in sister location. Some of the characters have very clear-cut similarities to the Afton family, namely Vlad, and his baby being an allegory for William and Michael respectively.
CD. CD is part of the cheat code that can be used in earlier FNAF games to skip a night, usually with extra steps, like kicking Toy Freddy's nose on the poster in FNAF 2.
Eighth Night. Eighth Night is the final and hardest night that you can play, not including challenges. In FNAF 4, you can find the night by typing in 20, 20, 20, 20 into the extras menu. This was most likely made due to the fact that FNAF 4 didn't have a custom night.
Willtrap versus Miketrap was a cover-up. The Willtrap versus Miketrap debate was essentially a small debate that took place after release of Sister Location, where fans were split on whether William Afton or Michael Afton was the one trapped in the Springtrap suit. This is hinting that Scott hinted this simply to cause more confusion and mystery in the already messy story that was FNAF. However, it's been proven already that this is in fact William in the suit, so no more of that dumpster fire.
Fixed Mangle. Although we haven't seen a fixed Mangle in a mainstream FNAF game, we do know that Mangle was at one point fixed. This is basically proven by a poster that shows the head of Mangle before they were, well, mangled. Fixed Mangle also appears in FNAF World under the name Funtime Foxy, despite Funtime Foxy being an entirely different character than Mangle.
Shadow BB. Shadow BB is another hoax animatronic that was supposedly rarely appeared in FNAF 2, just like Shadow Bonnie. However, this was proven fake shortly after the teaser was released. Yet it still remains one of the more prominent hoaxes in FNAF's history.
Music Man in the Ballpit. When playtesting the Ballpit Tower in FNAF 6, you can very rarely fish up Music Man for free. This is pretty useful given the Music Man is one of the most expensive animatronics. Although, what was he doing in there anyway?
FNAF World inspired by Boys. Five Nights at Boys is a FNAF fan game made in RPG Maker where the animatronics go through pretty interesting scenarios. Mainly ones that would get this video demonetized if we described them. But the battle mechanics were pretty similar to FNAF World, which came after Boys. It's entirely unknown if Scott was inspired by it, but it certainly isn't impossible.
Scott Cawthon's interview, you know? On the 8th of August, 2018, popular and well-known YouTuber Drawkill was able to interview Scott Cawthon, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's. This was a pretty exciting moment for everyone in the community, since it was basically the first time we were getting to hear the man himself tell us about his ideas and experiences with the franchise. He was also prompted to tell us more story-based questions like, what FNAF 3 ending is canon? Whose suit do we wear in Night 4 of Sister Location? But unfortunately, those questions were denied.
Official FNAF Discord server. As of now, there is no official FNAF Discord server. There are hundreds of fan-made community servers, but none for official sources. Imagine a place.
Music Man uses FNAF 1 Scream. In Ultimate Custom Night, almost all the animatronics originating from FNAF 6 that have lethal jump scares use the FNAF 6 jump scare sound. All of them except for Music Man, who for some reason uses the FNAF 1 jump scare sound. The only real reason we can see this being intentional is because the FNAF 1 jump scare sound is slightly more startling, and Music Man's jump scare is a lot more unexpected as well.
Funtime Freddy's VA follows Shadman. Kellen Gaunt used to follow a certain user named Shadman, don't look him up, on Twitter. He doesn't anymore, but he used to. And I guess he got some backlash for it, but it wasn't really anything noteworthy.
They'll never find my stash.
One day since the party. This is most likely hitting at a minigame the day after the bite of 83. Although, this would be pretty interesting, this doesn't exist. Unless you count the minigame where Psychic Fred Fredbear is talking to the bite victim with the rest of the plushies.
FNAF World on Steam. FNAF World was actually available on Steam for a short while upon its release. However, because of the poor reviews, Scott decided to remove the game from Steam and keep it only on GameJolt for free. There is still a way to get it free on Steam, although it's a little bit unconventional.
Infinite Tycoon. In a little Steam update Scott posted about possible future content for FNAF 6, Scott hinted that he might try to make an Infinite Tycoon mode for the game. That didn't end up happening as Scott decided to spend more time on making UCN, which was originally going to be extra content for FNAF 6.
BB and the Puppet in FNAF 1. In an older online interview, Scott had said that there were originally going to be more animatronics in the first game, but were cut and instead made their debut in the following game. These animatronics are most likely Balloon Boy and the Puppet, given that they're the only two animatronics not based off the other animatronics in the first game.
The animatronics can teleport. This is referring to the speed of the animatronics as they move from camera to camera in a matter of seconds. It's unknown which animatronics can and cannot teleport, but one of the more prominent examples is Bonnie, since he moves to basically whatever camera he wants at any distance. Meanwhile, the other three animatronics always follow a set path. However, this isn't solid evidence since in Help Wanted, all the animatronics, including Bonnie, walk to get from place to place.
Adult theory. Oof. Okay. How can I put this into perspective? Okay. Basically, when the sister location was teased, Kane Carter, the creator of Pop Goes, made a theory that sister location animatronics were going to be used for very not kid-friendly things. I'm sure you could get the picture. Luckily, though, this was proven completely false.
Drawkill Animatronics. The Drawkill Animatronics are a set of fan-made animatronics, with more realistic features than the average FNAF animatronic. Their body parts are out of proportion, and most of them have a lot of wires outside of their bodies. A common misconception was that these animatronics were canon, which unfortunately they were not. They looked so good. Why?
Pineapple pizza in FFPS. You can't put pineapple on your pizza in the beginning of the game. Oh, no, that's it.
Joko is Scott Cawthon's nephew, although this would be really funny if it's true. Unfortunately, since biology is impossible for Scott Cawthon and Dako to be related, for starters, Scott was born in America while Dako was born in the UK. Not to mention that Dako and Scott don't share the same last name.
Freddy in Space's final boss, based on scene posts by Scott Cawthon. If you didn't know, the final boss in Freddy in Space is Scott Cawthon's head in a jar. It has mechanical arms too. Obviously, a boss that isn't really made to be taken seriously. However, the boss may have been inspired by a Steam post that suggested the idea of Scott himself becoming a boss in the game.
FNAF Plushies in Steven Universe. In one of the frames of an official Steven Universe comic, you can see a group of 3 plushies sitting on a counter. A brown bear, a purple bunny, and a yellow chicken. A perfect homage to the classic Fazbear band.
The Nightmare Animatronics early designs. This refers to the early design details that were given to the Nightmares in the teasers, leading up to FNAF 4. The most prominent features were Nightmare Foxy's tongue, Nightmare Fredbear's coloration, my bad. Fucking... I'll just re-say that one. Nightmare Foxy's tongue, Nightmare Fredbear's coloration, and the head shape of Plushtrap. These features were either changed or just completely cut out.
Toy Freddy was Panties. We're fairly certain that this is referring to the fact that Toy Freddy's animatronic. We're fairly certain that this is referring to the fact that the toy animatronics' pelvises look like a certain clothing article. Regardless, though, this just isn't true since the animatronics don't wear clothes. They're naked.
Does that mean Toy Chica is naked this entire...
Freddy Bear. Freddy Bear was the original name for Freddy Fazbear, as seen on the Kickstarter page for the original FNAF. The name is obviously a play on the word teddy bear, and his name was later changed to Freddy Fazbear upon the full release.
FNAF 6, original version. In a Steam post in June 2017, Scott announced that he was canceling a project that he had been making for a little bit. He even said that the community could refer to it as FNAF 6. He then stated that he was thinking of making a Pizzeria Tycoon game, which we all know ended up being our FNAF 6. However, the scrapped game that was meant to be the 6th installment was never brought up again. Whether it was going to have a similar story to Pizza Simulator is unknown, and we probably won't know what it was ever.
Group hug and thank you teaser source code. If you open the thank you teaser in a notepad file, you can see a line of text that states group hug. This is most likely just a short little placeholder name for the giant group image of all the animatronics from the first 4 games.
FNAF World save data in UCN. Believe it or not, FNAF World and UCN actually do share some of the same save data, specifically the Old Man Consequence sections in both games. If you get the OMC secret in UCN while having FNAF World at the same time, you'll get the OMC ending in FNAF World despite not playing it. It's interesting how these 2 games could possibly tie together, but we don't know exactly why it does.
Funtime Blood Puppet. Funtime Blood Puppet was a joke that Scott made during one of Dako's charity live streams. In the stream, There was a section where Daka was painting his face like FNAF character. Ha 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 ha, funny. And he jokingly called the creation Funtime Blood Puppet. Scott later jokingly said that Funtime Blood Puppet would be in the non-existent update 3 for FNAF World. Holy shit, guys. Funtime Blood Puppet's gonna be in FNAF World.
Official FNAF merch commercial. As of now, FNAF has yet to have an officially aired merch commercial. In fact, it's never had a commercial that aired on public TV. It may in the future, but not as of now.
The Bite of 94. There hasn't been any sort of event called the Bite of 94 in the FNAF games as of now. As to what this entirely is hinting at, it might be suggesting that there was some sort of bite right after FNAF 1, since that game almost certainly takes place in 1993.
Bitey Bab and Mini Rena in FNAF sister location intermissions. On extremely rare occasions during the soap opera intermissions in sister location, you'll be able to see Mini Rena or Bitey Bab next to the TV. They're partially hidden in shadows and only stare at you while you watch.
Ice Cave in FNAF World. The ice caves were most likely another location in FNAF World. We didn't get any sort of location called the ice caves, so it's most likely they just got cut. However, a track for the ice caves was found and can still be listened to today. Here's a short part of the track.
The Chica anime in UCN represents the missing children's incident. If we take a closer look at the theme surrounding the Chica anime, there are in fact major similarities to the fabled missing children's incident. The way that Chica lures her classmates could possibly be the ways that William Afton lured the children to their deaths. One aspect of the anime that kind of contradicts the theory is that Chica kills 7 people, while the missing children incident only had 5 confirmed deaths.
Scott Cawthon worked at a dollar store. In a Steam post explaining some things about hate, Scott stated that he worked at a dollar store called the Dollar General in 2014. Whether he worked before or after FNAF's release is unknown. It goes to show you that FNAF really gave Scott the boost he needed to be successful.
Scott's middle name is Afton. Scott's middle name is Braden. Simple as that. If it was Afton, then it would definitely have been more well known. But nope, Braden.
Apocalypse Animatronics. Our best guess on this one is that it's referring to another group of fan-made animatronics similar to the Drawkill Animatronics. There aren't any animatronics called Apocalypse Animatronics, so this is still false nonetheless.
For that themed episode in Mexican animated series! There have been quite a few FNAF-esque episodes in animated series, mostly revolving around robotic/mascot characters turning evil and creepy. However, for Mexican series specifically, we weren't able to find anything really.
Withered Bonnie's red and white eyes. This is referring to how Withered Bonnie's eye color isn't very consistent in FNAF 2. Most of the time they're red, however, in some of his camera renders, his eyes are white. As to whether this is intentional or not, it's unknown.
Cassidy. The first introduction to Cassidy was in the Fourth Closet book. In the book, she is described as a young girl with straight black hair. Ever since her reveal alongside the other identities of the missing children, she is widely considered to be the 5th missing child in the missing children's incident, who later possesses Golden Freddy.
The true ending in FFPS. None of the endings in FFPS are titled the true ending. However, the completion ending would definitely fit the role of true ending. The completion ending revolves around salvaging every animatronic you can. beating every night, and then having the pizzeria burn.
Dancing figure in FNAF World. In front of the cave entrance in the dusting fields is a gray, dancing figure, representing some sort of animatronic bear. This mystery character has gone unexplained ever since he was revealed, and nobody in the community really knows what his deal is. But he's grooving. I mean, like, take a look. Look at him right there. Do you see this man? He's gonna steal your girl!
FNAF Dark Ride. The FNAF Dark Ride is a concept ride being created by the Sally Corporation. The theme of the ride is up to 6 people act as the night guards and try to survive through the ride. They are armed with flashlights that can scare away the animatronics, and the amount of points they get result in whether they beat or lost the night. There have been quite a few pieces of good looking concept art as well, which makes the potential of a FNAF ride even more likely.
Scraptrap has a regular sized forehead. This is just false. A ruse, if you will. Look at Scraptrap's freaking head. You can make all the obligatory peanut jokes you want, but look at it! Why is it so large? But let an airplane on it if you tried! Why, Scott? Why?
I want to look his peanut head.
It looks like Jimmy Neutron! It looks like Jimmy Neutron!
Playable Plushtrap. As of now, there has not yet to be any official game in the franchise that has let us play as the animatronic, and Plushtrap is no exception.
Cancelled due to leaks. This refers to the sister location teaser that supposedly hinted that due to the leaks that sister location was getting, the game was being cancelled. However, upon brightening the teaser, you can see the teaser is referring to Circus Baby's Pizza World being cancelled due to gas leaks. We're fairly certain this story was used as a cover-up to hide the death of Elizabeth Afton, since she died the only day the pizzeria was open.
Balloon Boy Jumpscare. For a little over 5 years, Balloon Boy was known as the one animatronic in FNAF that never jumpscared you, not including his other variations, of course. However, in 2019, BB was one of the 9 characters included in FNAF AR's launch, and in that game, he finally got jumpscare.
Math Man.
Math Man is a minor character that was introduced in the Freddy files. He only showed up when something to do with numbers came up in the book. Otherwise, he was just there for aesthetics.
BB laughs 4 times before attacking. BB does in fact laugh 4 times before trying to get in your office in FNAF 2. That's it. Don't freaking know why this entry is this low in the iceberg, but there you go.
5 Nights at Freddy's World Mobile Port. A mobile port for FNAF World was released for Android on January 12, 2017, and it was removed literally the next day. There was also an iOS port planned, but it never came out.
Beaver animatronic in FNAF 1. During FNAF 1's development phase, Scott had a bit of trouble on what animal the 4th animatronic should be based on. What if his decisions happened to be a beaver? However, he quickly scrapped the idea instead and based it off a fox, most likely to not tie in the game with his previous game, Chipper and Sons.
Michael talking in real ending. This is most likely referring to Michael talking in the final cutscene in Sister Location. He claims to his father, William Afton, that he had found her and put her back together, how he should be dead but isn't, and how he is going to come and find him.
FNAF movie by Columbia Pictures. Columbia Pictures was the original studio planned to help Scott produce the elusive FNAF movie. However, due to some issues with the pacing of production, Scott eventually switched to Blumhouse, where the production seems to be going much more smoothly, hinted by Scott's post that confirmed the script was done and shooting was supposedly going to start soon.
Can you release us from our chains now, Subject? I want to go home.
Hey,
So thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.
I need to get back
Shut
to the
up,
black
Springy.
board,
I'm doing
please.
the outro. Anyways, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below.
Seriously, I can't believe
And I
you let
swear
us
to
stick around for a second one. Thanks, guys.
I'm letting you stick around for the whole ride,
Oh, cool.
dummy. Anyways, goodbye, everyone.
Can we get more than like breadcrumbs now?
Can I go back to the Black Void?
Sure. Have fun.